Welcome back, everyone, to the Daytona International Speedway for round number 4 of the 2018B NASA RallyCross Challenge season. This time, we're running on the shorter course, as you may be familiar with last season in the NASA RallyCross Challenge. We ran this course as well. We'll go over it in just a couple moments. We have 10 cars here today getting ready to do battle on the Daytona infield road course. And just like before, 2 heat races, which will be 6 laps apiece. You have to take the Joker lap once, which is right there on the screen. The top 2 transfer through to the final, and the winner gets a bonus point. The remaining 6 drivers will be in the 4-lap last chance qualifier, where the top 2 advance, no bonus points given to them. Then the final is 10 laps, 6 drivers, and you have to take the Joker lap twice. This should be a fantastic race here at Daytona. Let's ride on board defending champion Philip Kraus to see what it's like. So the Subaru mechanic didn't tell us that Philip Kraus doesn't have an onboard camera. We're going to ride on board his teammate Josh Mertz instead. Up to 5th gear, down to 4th. Right, left chicane, very tricky, missed the tire barrier. 4th gear, over the jump. Depending on what car you're in, 5th or 4th. Down to 3rd, down to 2nd for the tricky hairpin, 35 miles an hour. Gas it hard, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, down, 3rd, 2nd. Into this right-hander, very tricky section. Penalty box on the left. And back out onto the road course. Right, left. Down to the hairpin. Joker on the right-hand side. Very tricky in the Subarus as the rear brakes like to lock up at this track. But that was a lap here at Daytona as Heat 1 is about to begin. Getting ready for the first heat race here in Daytona. Philip Kraus will be on pole. Then it's Marwan Moftah, Chris Wetz, Jacob Harberts, and Ray Kingsbury. 3 Fords and 2 Subarus getting ready to go for 6 laps in Daytona. Wetz jumps off the line. Kraus beats Moftah. Looks like to turn 1. Wetz will immediately be given a time penalty. Unfortunately, he cannot serve that. Harberts into Moftah, which sends the Egyptian nearly around. Good save for him, but he's going to be battling with Wetz for the 2nd spot as we begin the first lap. Wetz 3rd, Kingsbury and Harberts, so the last lap cars 4th and 5th. Kraus leads us. Wetz battling Moftah, but Kraus trying to pull away. And the Subarus have been stupid quick this weekend in Daytona. Moftah in the Privateer Subaru, but the factory MRT squad has been lightning quick. Philip Kraus was half a second faster than the rest of the field in practice and in seating. He leads at the end of the first lap. Remember now, the Joker lap is allowed. And Marwan Moftah in 2nd. Wetz 3rd. Kingsbury on his side nearly. In the 25, battling his teammate Harberts. As those two battling to the death, let's see who Joker's on the first lap of the race. I don't know if Kraus will, but he does to get the clear track in car number 1. So he holds the lead as we begin lap number 3. Holding the lead is Philip Kraus. Moftah in 2nd. Wetz is 3rd. 4th is Harberts. He got by Kingsbury. And Philip Kraus ran a 33.142. His last lap when he ran that Joker. We'll have to see if Moftah is going to mimic the strategy. No. Moftah will take the Joker probably on the last lap of the race like he normally does. He locked up the rear brakes. Like I said, you've been noticing that. The Subarus lock up brakes way easier than the rest of the field. Over the jump. To begin, cross flags, lap 4. And this man, yes, it's just the heat race, but Philip Kraus has been so dejected over the scanner the last 3 weeks. In Sonoma, he would talk to Mertz on the scanner and said, this is not fun anymore, because Kraus is normally used to being up front at the sharp end of the field. And he wasn't. He has not been. He had that issue with Kingsbury and Sonoma. He just wasn't fast when we came here the first time at Daytona. But something clicked in the Subaru, and he is lightning quick right back to the front of the field, and that is why this man is car number 1. 34.324 to a 34.495. They're half a second faster than the Fords. Wett's a 34.965, 7.50 for Harberts, and a 36.893 for Kingsbury. White flag for Kraus. Moftaw is closing, but I don't think he'll be able to take the fight to him. The delta is about a second and a half, but I don't believe that Moftaw is under that delta to win over Kraus. We'll have to see. There's still half a lap to go, and anything can happen. I say that every single show, and I bring it up that I say it every single show because it's true that anything can happen in NASA RallyCross. It usually does. Jokering is Moftaw, but the defending champion is back where he should be. Kraus wins Heat 1. Transferring is Moftaw. Wett's is best of the rest in third, Harbert's fourth, and Kingsbury fifth as they go to the LCQ. There was a technical problem with Dylan Livingood's car. Number 51 will not be on track in the second heat. But Mertz, Kingsbury, Ethan Lane, and Chad Simpson, 2 newcomers to the series, will battle for Heat 2. Off the line, Mertz is going to battle Ethan Lane, the newcomer in the Volkswagen Beetle, into turn 1. Lane's going to get the advantage, but he runs it wide. Mertz is going to take the fight. You know he does not like that. Lane runs it wide, and Mertz leads as we begin the first lap. Kingsbury alongside Chad Simpson. Through the dirt. Looks like Simpson had an issue. He looped it in the Volkswagen. And the Volkswagen used to be very quick because of the shorter wheelbase, but I'm not sure what the Subarus have this week. But the Volkswagens were lightning quick in open testing a couple weeks ago. Mertz will lead us in the Subaru. So much like last race, Lane is in second. Third is Kingsbury. Joker's now allowed on the second lap of the race, and Mertz tries to pull away in car number 2. Over the jump goes the 2, very squirrely, and around he goes! So, last week's winner, 5-time champion Mertz, has looped it, and he's struggling to get the car in reverse. And he's very mad over the MRT scanner. As you might recall, the last couple seasons we were able to have that open scanner. With the Gen 4 regulations, that has been banned actually by NASA. So, as a sanctioning body, they don't let us do it anymore. It's all encrypted. Kingsbury tries to joker. Lane still leads on the third lap of the race now. And we'll have to see if car number 2 can claw his gap back, but it's going to be very interesting to see. Honestly, I don't think he can. There's not a lot of time in these heat races. Lane had an issue in the hairpin there, but the Beetle is ahead of the Fiesta, and it's fascinating to see, finally, Volkswagen didn't have a lot of takers with the Beetle, but now we have the 2 privateers, Lane, Jokers, on the third lap of the race, coming across flags. So car number 99 exits the Joker and holds the lead. Mertz in the Subaru ran a 45.0. That was the lap he spun. We'll have to see 34.383 to 36.537 for Kingsbury. 2 seconds a lap faster is car number 2. Right on board. Mertz ran a 34.659. Kingsbury ran a 35.612. 6.42 for Lane. Mertz is a second faster than these guys in the Subaru. White flag for Ethan Lane, who is trying to win his first heat race in his first start. We'll have to see. In the Volkswagen, it seems like the Volkswagen and the Ford can't carry as much speed through this first bus stop type chicane. Mertz has just bounced the car over the jump. extremely focused, 34.615 to a 36.1 and a 36 flat. But I don't think there's going to be enough time. Ethan Lane in the Volkswagen will round the final corner, along with Matt Kingsbury, because where is Mertz? Mertz is jokering, but he threw it away. Lane wins Heat 2. Kingsbury transfers to the LCQ. A dejected Mertz, Chad Simpson, and Dylan Livengood. So let's take a look, actually, at what just happened with Mertz over the jump. Here's Mertz, car number 2, in the Red Bull Subaru, into the right, into the left, and it looks like he took the jump at about 81 miles an hour, and he jumped at a weird angle, because it spit the car around. And then he tried to get it into reverse, and it just wouldn't go. LCQ time in Daytona. Pole position will be Jacob Harberts, then Mertz, then Ray Kingsbury, Chad Simpson, Wetson, Livengood. Getting ready for 4 laps. It's 4 manufacturer versus 2 privateer. 2 of them transfer. This should be good. Green flag off the line. The Subaru gets a much better jump than all the Fords. Harberts v. Kingsbury into turn number 1. Kingsbury tries the outside, getting by his teammate Harberts. They're going to be side by side as Mertz leads to begin the first lap. Wetz is 4th, 5th is Simpson, and 6th is Livengood. Remember, the Revolution Racing team had an issue on car number 51. We don't know the performance of that car, as he missed practice and he missed the heat races. As Harbert's in 2nd. Kingsbury squirrely out of the corner in 3rd. And Wetz is having a terrible season so far in the 23. Chad Simpson in his first race in 5th, and Livengood in the 6th spot. As I don't know if Revolution Racing is going to be in this final, and it is a shame to see as Mertz leads at the end of the first lap. The Jokers now are allowed. We'll have to see how the strategy unravels, but Harberts holds the transfer spot as Mertz has pulled away. It is 4 Fords, a Volkswagen, and a Subaru in this LCQ, and you can tell the Subaru is so much faster than the rest of the field. 48.638 to a 50.1. Yes, that was the start lap. We'll have to see when the lap times unravel. Mertz will joker on the 2nd lap, his first opportunity, get the strategy unraveled, so the 5-time champion holds the lead in the LCQ. Wetz jokers, but he crosses the joker line. Could not beat Harberts, but I don't know if that's going to be a penalty for the American. Kingsbury 4th, Simpson 5th, and Livengood struggling in the Ford in 6th. 33 flat for Mertz as he jokered, 34.4 for Harberts, so it's about a 1.5 difference. We'll just have to see. Mertz's strategy is played. His cards have been shown. Harberts, I believe, is going to try and joker on the last lap of the race. He's in the transfer spot. All he really has to do is drive. He'll make this show. White flag in Daytona. It's really going to be a battle, as honestly, there's still a lap to go. Anything can happen, but Kingsbury and Wetz have jokered. They don't have a strategy. Harberts has not jokered, so he's ahead of these guys. Simpson 5th, Livengood 6th. Mertz is out and away from the rest of the field, 35.1, 34.6, 34.8. So interestingly, Harberts was faster than the Subaru this time, but I think Mertz is just cruising. Around the final corner, it was a scary bit to put him in the LCQ, but Mertz wins and Harberts transfers. 7th place, best of the rest is Wetz. 8th is Ray Kingsbury. 9th is Simpson. 10th is Livengood, and this is huge for the championship because Ray Kingsbury has not missed a final this season. Livengood, once again, out of the final here in Daytona. This should be a great race. Getting ready for the Daytona RallyCross Grand Prix. On pole, defending champion Philip Kraus. Ethan Lane, Marwan Moftah, Matt Kingsbury, Josh Mertz, and Jacob Harberts for 10 laps. Getting ready to go in Daytona. Anything can happen, and it usually does. Green flag off the line. Kraus will get the jump. Lane is 3 wide with Moftah as Mertz gets behind his teammate. This should be a fantastic battle between the Subarus. Lane hits Kraus. Mertz is 2nd. Lane 3rd. Moftah. Whole shot goes to Kraus. Contact with Lane and Mertz. It looks like Mertz got on the brakes a little early. Into the tire barrier. Nearly goes Lane as championship leader Moftah is back in 3rd. Cluster as Lane gets hit by Kingsbury in midair in 4th. Around into the tire barriers along with the last lap teammates. Harberts in 5th. Matt Kingsbury 6th. The Subarus 1 and 2. Moftaw in 3rd, so the Privateer in 3rd. Lane, Harberts, and Kingsbury as Kraus leads at the end of the first lap. And MRT has not been great this season. But right now, we have a 1-2 finish on the cards. We got 9 laps to go, though. We're not going to mention that again. As Kraus holds the lead, Mertz is 2nd. Moftaw 3rd. 4th Harberts, 5th Lane, and 6th is Kingsbury. Kingsbury struggling. Jokering are the MRT teammates. And the strategy unraveling. These guys literally are going to mimic each other's strategy and then go racing. So I think Mertz is a little bit down on pace as the track crew before the final threw some dirt down and really mucked up the surface. So it's not as gripped up as Mertz likes it, and you know from his open wheel background and his origins, he loves a gripped up racetrack. Moftaw 3rd, 35.123 for the Egyptian. Mertz ran a 33.784 as he jokered, and he jokers again along with his teammate. So these guys trying to take the fight to one another and try and hold this lead. Moftaw 3rd still. Harberts, Lane, and it looks like Matt Kingsbury pulling over in the Ford Fiesta. So take him out of it. As his brother missed the final, and the Last Lap Motorsports team a dismal result for the Constructors' Championship for Last Lap Motorsports. But it's certainly not a dismal result so far for MRT, as they are 1-2. Looks like Kingsbury's running again, so I'm not sure if there was a temporary issue on the Ford, but he got it restarted and going again. 35 Ford with 35.8. Moftaw ran a 35.2, so he is pushing very hard to disrupt this MRT party at the front of the field. As 34.9 to a 36 flat. Lane looks like he almost missed the jump there in the Volkswagen. This is going to be the real battle. I don't know if Mertz has the pace today to hold the second spot, but he is playing rear gunner to his teammate. As his teammate, he came over the radio as they got 1-2. And said, I am literally fine with you finishing, or me finishing second today, because I'm not battling you for the championship. Mertz always thinks of championship. And he's going to let his teammate go, and he's just going to play rear gunner. But Moftaw is closing, and we've gone over that delta. It's a 1.5 seconds. And I don't think Mertz has that delta. It's going to be extremely tricky to hold this delta for Marwan Moftaw, because the Egyptian is flying in car number 191, holding both the red and blue numbers, but clearly you can't have two color numbers. But he is the Privateer points leader and the overall points leader in the NASA RallyCross Challenge. 4 laps to go at Daytona. 35.2 to a 34.9, 0.3 seconds faster is Moftaw over Mertz. Harbert's trying to pick up the pieces in 4th, and Ethan Lane in 5th. As Kingsbury has parked the car again, I'm not sure if there's another problem on the Ford, but we'll have to see if he can keep going. But struggling to keep that Ford alive is the Last Lap Motorsports driver. 3 to go for Philip Kraus here in Daytona. That is the delta between Mertz and Moftaw. And it's going to be very interesting to see, like I said before, if Mertz can hold this delta. He is cruising at a 34.9. His teammate a 35 flat. Moftaw a 35 as well. But these guys are so much faster than the other cars. Harbert's a 35.8. Lane ran the Joker a 34.1. Kingsbury got the car restarted, but crashed into the Jumbotron truck. I'm not really sure what happened there, as Kraus takes 2 laps to go. We'll have to investigate that. As Mertz lands the jump, gets the car rotated, and he's starting to push, but like I said, he's not very good at a loose surface, as this track was worn down to the pavement in practice, and MRT was 1-2 by half a second. This is going to be interesting, though. We'll have to see. Moftaw is going to Joker, coming to the white flag for Philip Kraus. Moftaw takes to the Joker, and he beats Mertz. He pips him out of the exit. This is going to be fascinating between these two Subarus. Over the jump, Mertz flies and nearly lands on the rear wing of Moftaw. Contact between them over the jump, and Mertz gets into him, into the corner. He pipped the brakes. That shouldn't be a penalty, as it was not more than 90 degrees. That was a cheeky move by the defending champion, or sorry, the five-time champion, defending champions up here. But Philip Kraus, it took him a while, but back on the top step of the podium, win number 13 for the Canadian. And it brings home MRT's 21st 1-2 finish in NASA RallyCross as the points leader Moftaw comes home third. Fourth is Harberts. Fifth is Ethan Lane. Sixth is Matt Kingsbury. Seventh, Wetz. Eighth is Ray Kingsbury. Ninth is Chad Simpson. 10th is Dylan Livengood. And 11th, the provisional for Doug DeNice. And what about these guys? 21, 1-2 finishes in NASA RallyCross. There were 8 double podiums last season and 10 double podiums in 2017C. As Philip Kraus ties Dylan Livengood for the all-time leader in Canadian victories, as we haven't seen Livengood on the top step of the podium in 3 years, and unfortunately, given the circumstances after his accident, it will be a huge story if the Canadian can pull off a victory. But points-wise, Marwan Moftaw gets a point added to his total for his points lead as Kingsbury drops from second to third in points, and now Mertz elevates to second in points. But now we switch it up. You remember the old endurance rounds from the NASCAR 2003 days? They have been renamed to the Gymkhana rounds. And we will go to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire, Lime Rock Park, Summit Point, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the next 4 weeks. So that should be fascinating, and we don't see these cars on all asphalt very often, but that will be definitely something to watch. We hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the NASA RallyCross Challenge here at the Daytona International Speedway. We hope to see you next week in New Hampshire, but until then, so long, everyone.